If you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, wow, I feel younger than I look, then this video is for you, because the truth is aging isn't just about birthdays or numbers, it's about what we do every single day. And while getting older is a gift, the habits we carry into our 50s and beyond can either speed up that aging process or help us stay vibrant, strong, and glowing well into our later years. Most people don't realize it, but there are small daily routines and choices that might be silently stealing away their youthful energy, their skin's glow, their flexibility, even their memory. The good news: once you know what those habits are, you can make changes starting today, and your body will thank you for it. So stick with me till the very end, because I'm going to walk you through 10 daily habits that make you age faster after 50 and how to turn them around so you feel not just older, but actually younger, sharper, and more alive with every passing year. Let's start with something most people overlook. When we think of aging, we often think about wrinkles, stiff joints, or fatigue. But what's really happening is that every little thing we do or don't do impacts our cells. And after the age of 50, our cells become more sensitive to the environment we create for them. For example, if you're constantly skimping on sleep, you're not just feeling tired the next day, you're also speeding up the breakdown of your skin, your immune system, and even your memory. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. When you're sleeping, your body is busy fixing DNA damage, restoring hormones, and even cleaning out toxins from the brain. So that habit of pushing through late nights with TV or scrolling on your phone is literally shaving years off your vitality. Imagine what would happen if you treated sleep as seriously as you treat your meals. You'd notice fewer dark circles, sharper thinking, and a lighter mood. Another daily habit that sneaks up on people after 50 is not drinking enough water. I know it sounds simple, but hydration is like oil for the engine. Without it, everything begins to creak. Your skin becomes drier and wrinkles appear deeper, your digestion slows, your energy crashes, and your joints stiffen. Many people confuse thirst with hunger, so they end up eating when their body is really just crying out for water. And here's a secret: water also helps flush away inflammation, and inflammation is one of the fastest accelerators of aging. So, if you're sipping 2 or 3 cups of coffee, but barely drinking water, your body is paying the price. Make hydration effortless. Start your day with a tall glass of water before anything else, and keep a bottle near you at all times. Over time, you'll notice your skin feels more supple and your energy feels more consistent. Now let's talk about movement. One of the most common habits after 50 is sitting too much, whether it's long hours in front of the TV, spending too much time at the desk, or even driving. All that sitting literally weakens your muscles, stiffens your joints, and slows your metabolism. Movement is youth. The less you move, the older your body feels. But the solution doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Even a daily 20-minute walk, a few stretches in the morning, or some light bodyweight exercises like squats and push-ups can make a huge difference. Think about it like this: every step you take is like telling your body, I'm still alive, I'm still strong, I still need you to perform. The more you move, the more your body responds by keeping you flexible, mobile, and youthful. And here's a surprising one. Many people don't realize how much stress adds years to their body. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol, a hormone that not only raises your blood pressure and blood sugar, but also accelerates the breakdown of collagen in your skin. That means more wrinkles, sagging, and faster aging from the inside out. Stress also weakens your immune system, which is crucial after 50, when your defenses are already naturally slowing down. Daily habits like holding on to grudges, worrying too much about the future, or staying glued to the news can keep your stress levels high without you realizing it. What if instead you added 5 minutes of deep breathing, a short walk in nature, or even gratitude journaling into your day? It's not about eliminating stress completely. It's about teaching your body to calm down, to reset, to stop aging you before your time. Diet, of course, plays a massive role. One of the most common mistakes after 50 is relying too much on processed foods. Fast food, packaged snacks, sugary drinks. They're convenient, but they're loaded with refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and artificial ingredients that inflame the body. Inflammation is the silent killer, the root cause of so many diseases, and it also makes you look older than you are. When you fuel your body with real, nutrient-dense foods, you slow down that process. Foods like salmon, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, keep your skin glowing and your heart strong. Blueberries, packed with antioxidants, protect your brain and fight free radicals that damage your cells. And almonds, full of healthy fats and vitamin E, are amazing for your skin and energy. If you simply swap out processed snacks for these kinds of foods, you'll notice not just changes in how you look, but in how you feel every day. But here's the kicker. Another habit that ages people fast after 50 is eating too little protein. Many older adults think they don't need as much protein, or they cut back because they think it's healthier. But protein is the building block of muscle. And after 50, muscle loss accelerates. That's why you see so many people shrinking, losing strength, or struggling with balance. Without enough protein, your body literally breaks itself down. That means slower metabolism, weaker bones, and less resilience against illness. Adding more lean protein sources like eggs, chicken, fish, beans, and even Greek yogurt can help you maintain the strength and stability you need not just to survive, but to thrive. One daily choice that might surprise you is posture. How you sit, stand, or even walk sends signals to your body. Slouching compresses your lungs and makes it harder to breathe fully. Over time, it weakens your back muscles and gives you that older look, even if you're not actually feeling it yet. Poor posture also affects mood. It can make you feel more tired and less confident. Try paying attention to your posture throughout the day. Stand tall, shoulders back, breathe deeply. It sounds small, but these tiny adjustments add up to a more youthful presence and stronger body. And here's another often overlooked factor: isolation. As people age, they sometimes spend less time connecting with others. Loneliness is one of the biggest accelerators of aging, not just emotionally but physically. Studies show it raises the risk of heart disease, depression, memory loss, and even early death. Humans are wired for connection. A simple phone call with a friend, joining a group activity, or spending time with family can literally extend your life. Don't underestimate the power of laughter, of shared meals, of meaningful conversations. They are as important as vitamins and exercise when it comes to staying youthful. Let's not forget one of the biggest daily habits that impacts aging: sun exposure. While a little sun is important for vitamin D, too much sun without protection breaks down collagen in your skin, causing wrinkles, age spots, and even raising the risk of skin cancer. After 50, your skin becomes thinner and more vulnerable, which makes protection even more important. A simple habit like wearing sunscreen, a hat, or using protective clothing can slow down visible aging dramatically. Think of it as an investment in keeping your skin looking younger for longer. Let's talk about mindset. The habit of thinking you're too old for something is one of the fastest ways to age yourself. When you stop learning, Stop trying new things. Stop challenging yourself. Your brain and body get the message that it's time to shut down. But when you keep a growth mindset, when you decide to try that new class, pick up that hobby, or even learn how to use new technology, you're telling your brain, I'm still young, I'm still curious, I'm still alive. Your brain responds by creating new connections, keeping your memory sharper, and your spirit younger. So, as you can see, aging isn't just about the number of candles on the cake. It's about how you live day to day, the little choices you make, whether it's staying hydrated, moving your body, managing stress, eating real foods like salmon, blueberries, and almonds, protecting your skin, or keeping your mind open. All of these either speed up or slow down how fast you age after 50. You have more control than you think. And the best part, it's never too late to start. Your body is incredibly forgiving. Even if you've been living with some of these habits for years, making small, consistent changes now can still reverse damage and add not just years to your life, but life to your years. When people reach their 50s, 60s, and beyond, one of the most powerful forces shaping their health and quality of life is not necessarily what they eat, how much they exercise, or even what illnesses run in their family, but rather how they think about aging itself. The human mind is a remarkable tool, capable of influencing the body on deep levels, and when a person falls into the daily habit of negative thinking, especially thoughts like, I'm too old for that, it sends signals that limit the brain, the body, and the spirit. This mindset begins to shape decisions subtly, leading to less engagement in activities, less curiosity about life, and less motivation to keep pushing forward. Over time, this creates a vicious cycle where the mind starts convincing the body to slow down, and the body, in turn, reinforces the mind's belief that age equals decline. The truth is that people who embrace a positive, empowered outlook often experience healthier aging, while those who continually reinforce limiting beliefs accelerate mental decline without even realizing it. The brain is highly adaptive, something scientists call neuroplasticity, and even at the age of 50 or 70, the brain can grow new connections, strengthen pathways, and improve memory and focus when challenged. But when someone repeatedly tells themselves they are too old to learn something new, too old to exercise, too old to socialize, or too old to dream bigger, the brain stops receiving the stimulation it craves. Without stimulation, neural connections weaken and memory begins to falter faster than it should. For example, a person who believes they are too old to try learning a new language or instrument will never attempt it, depriving their brain of fresh challenges. Meanwhile, another person the same age who believes they can always learn will continue building cognitive reserve, which acts as protection against mental decline. The key difference lies not in age, but in mindset. Another way a negative mindset accelerates decline is through stress. When you constantly focus on the idea that you are too old, that your best days are behind you, or that you lack the capacity to change, you create chronic stress within the body. Stress hormones like cortisol not only affect mood and energy, but also shrink parts of the brain responsible for memory and decision making. Over time, this contributes to forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, and even higher risk of conditions like dementia. On the other hand, maintaining a hopeful outlook reduces stress, protects the brain, and allows for sharper thinking well into later years. The difference in outcomes between a pessimistic outlook and an optimistic one can be dramatic, and the simple act of choosing empowering thoughts can add both quality and years to life. Daily habits reflect mindset, and mindset shapes habits. Consider how often people decline invitations or opportunities because they think they are too old. Someone might say no to traveling, dancing, or starting a new hobby because of the number they see on their birth certificate. That act of saying no leads to less social interaction, less physical activity, and less joy, all factors that protect brain health. Over time, that withdrawal reinforces loneliness, which itself has been shown to be as damaging to health as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So, a simple thought, I'm too old for this, becomes a decision. That decision becomes a pattern, and that pattern slowly chips away at vitality, creating the very decline people fear. It is also important to notice how language impacts aging. People often joke about being forgetful by saying, "Oh, I'm having a senior moment," or dismiss opportunities with phrases like, "That's for the younger generation." These repeated words train the brain to accept decline as inevitable and prevent individuals from pushing back against it. Language is powerful. It programs beliefs. When you tell yourself that age is just a number and that you are still capable, your brain receives an entirely different signal than when you resign to the thought of being too old. Words shape identity, and identity shapes actions. So every time you speak about your abilities, you are either reinforcing decline or reinforcing resilience. Social influence plays a role too. Many people adopt the limiting beliefs of those around them. If a group of friends constantly complains about getting old, aches and pains, or being unable to try new things, those messages get absorbed and repeated until they become internal truths. Conversely, surrounding yourself with people who remain active, adventurous, and mentally sharp helps reinforce the idea that aging does not have to equal decline. The saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," applies here as well, because the mindset of your circle often becomes your own. When you absorb negativity daily, you unconsciously create a mental environment where decline feels natural. But when you see examples of people thriving at any age, it plants seeds of possibility in your own mind. One of the subtle ways negative thinking accelerates decline is through loss of confidence. Confidence is a quiet but powerful motivator. When you believe you are capable, you are willing to try. When you try, you stay active, engaged, and learning. But when you convince yourself you are too old, your confidence shrinks and you stop challenging yourself. Without challenges, your brain becomes complacent, and complacency is the enemy of vitality. Confidence is not just about success, it's about the willingness to attempt. Every time you push yourself to attempt something new, whether you succeed or not, you are strengthening your brain's resilience. But without confidence, the cycle of inaction and decline only deepens. Another factor to consider is how negative thinking affects physical health, which then circles back to mental health. For example, if someone believes they are too old to exercise, they stop moving regularly. Physical inactivity leads to muscle weakness, balance problems, and fatigue. These physical issues reduce independence, which can trigger sadness, fear, and further withdrawal. That emotional decline then increases the risk of mental health issues, which again reinforce the mindset of being too old. The body and mind are deeply connected, and a negative mindset becomes the seed that grows into both physical and cognitive decline. On the other hand, even light exercise can break the cycle, improving mood, confidence, and brain function. Believing you are too old can also limit your willingness to use modern tools and technology that could keep you connected and engaged. Many older adults avoid smartphones, social media, or even video calls because they convince themselves it is too complicated for their age. As a result, they miss out on opportunities to stay in touch with loved ones, join online communities, or learn new skills from the vast resources available. This technological avoidance creates isolation and reduces cognitive stimulation. But those who approach technology with curiosity and openness find themselves connected, stimulated, and often delighted by the new possibilities. Once again, the difference lies in mindset rather than age. Curiosity itself is a powerful antidote to decline. When people maintain curiosity, they remain mentally young. Curiosity drives them to read, explore, ask questions, and seek out new experiences. Negative thinking stifles curiosity because it whispers that curiosity is only for the young, that exploration is no longer necessary, that learning new skills is a waste of time. But when curiosity is alive, the brain is kept in a constant state of growth. Think of curiosity like a workout for the mind. It keeps it flexible, adaptable, and vibrant. Without it, the brain stiffens just like a muscle that has not been used. Even spirituality and purpose are affected by mindset. People who feel they are too old to contribute or too old to have a purpose often experience a decline in mental sharpness. Purpose is fuel for the brain. It gives meaning to daily activities and motivates people to get up in the morning. Without purpose, days blend together and the mind grows dull. But when you maintain a sense of purpose, whether it is through volunteering, mentoring, creating, or nurturing relationships, the brain remains active and alert. Negative thinking that dismisses purpose as something only for younger years removes one of the most powerful protections against decline. The science of aging shows that attitude can even influence longevity. Researchers have found that people who hold positive beliefs about aging live longer, sometimes by several years, compared to those with negative beliefs. This suggests that mindset does not only shape the experience of aging, but also the length of life itself. When you tell yourself daily that you are too old, you are literally shortening the time you have left. But when you affirm that you still have much to give, much to learn, and much to enjoy, you extend your vitality. The mind is not a passive observer of aging, it is an active participant in shaping it. Ultimately, negative thinking is a habit. Just like any other, it is practiced daily through thoughts, words, and actions. And like any habit, it can be unlearned, replacing "I'm too old" with "I'm capable" creates a shift that ripples through all aspects of life. It encourages action, builds resilience, strengthens the brain, and fosters joy. Every moment spent in limiting thoughts is a moment accelerating decline, but every moment spent in empowering thoughts is a moment investing in longevity. The brain, even past 50, is hungry for growth, and it responds generously to positivity, curiosity, and challenge. The choice lies not in the number of years, but in the thoughts repeated each day, and those thoughts decide whether the brain declines faster or remains sharp and vibrant for years to come. When people talk about aging, they often focus on genetics, lifestyle, or diet, but one of the most underestimated daily factors that makes a person look and feel older faster is the way they treat their skin in the sun. Sunlight is life, giving, providing warmth, and helping the body produce vitamin D, but too much exposure without protection becomes one of the most destructive habits after the age of 50. Skin is the largest organ of the body, the barrier that protects everything inside, and it is also one of the most visible markers of age. Collagen, the protein responsible for skin's firmness and elasticity, is particularly vulnerable to ultraviolet radiation. Every time the skin is exposed unprotected to harsh sun, collagen fibers break down faster than the body can rebuild them, leaving behind fine lines, wrinkles, sagging, and dark spots. This process, known as photoaging, is one of the leading reasons people look older than their actual years. What makes this especially important after 50 is that natural collagen production is already slowing. So every additional damage from the sun compounds the effect, accelerating visible aging. Excessive sun exposure doesn't just change appearance. It alters the skin at the cellular level. Ultraviolet rays penetrate deep into the layers, generating free radicals that damage DNA. Over time, this not only weakens skin structure, but also raises the risk of skin cancers like melanoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and basal cell carcinoma. People may think of a tan as a healthy glow, but in reality, a tan is the skin's signal of injury, a desperate attempt to protect itself from further harm by producing melanin. Each time the skin darkens or burns, tiny amounts of irreversible damage accumulate. After years and decades, this shows up as leathery texture, uneven pigmentation, and increased fragility, making the skin bruise or tear more easily. The tragedy is that most of this damage is preventable through simple protective habits that many overlook or dismiss as unnecessary. The sun also plays tricks on how people perceive age because its effects don't appear immediately. Damage builds silently under the surface. Someone may spend their 30s and 40s enjoying tanning or outdoor activities without much thought, only to find that by their 50s the cumulative damage starts showing rapidly, making them appear older almost overnight. The uneven patches, deep creases, and loss of plumpness in the skin are not just natural aging, but the long-term consequence of unprotected sun exposure. At this stage, people sometimes assume it is too late to make changes, but the skin is remarkably resilient when given care. Protecting it even later in life slows further decline and can even allow for some repair, especially when combined with proper hydration and nutrition. Sun exposure also impacts collagen indirectly through inflammation. UV rays trigger an inflammatory response in the skin as the body tries to repair damage. This constant cycle of injury and repair drains resources, leaving the skin weaker over time. Chronic inflammation doesn't stop at the surface. It creates stress in the body's systems, weakening immunity and accelerating cellular aging across the board. This explains why dermatologists often point out that people with significant sun damage not only look older, but also often experience more health issues related to oxidative stress. Protecting skin from excess sun is therefore not a vanity measure, but a vital step for overall health. Cultural habits sometimes encourage people to underestimate this risk. Many grew up hearing that sun exposure is healthy, that a suntan looks attractive, or that sunscreen is only for the beach. After 50, these ideas can be especially harmful because the skin's natural defenses are weaker. The epidermis becomes thinner, natural oils decrease, and the ability to retain moisture declines. All of this makes the skin more sensitive to UV rays. Without protection, what might have caused a minor burn in youth can lead to more serious damage later in life. This vulnerability also explains why many older adults suddenly develop sunspots, redness, or fragile skin after years of not noticing problems. Another overlooked issue is cumulative exposure. It isn't just long beach days or vacations that cause harm. Small daily exposures add up. Walking the dog, gardening, driving with the window down, or sitting near a sunny window, all of these moments contribute to the overall damage when the skin is left unprotected. People often skip sunscreen on cloudy days or in colder months, assuming the risk is low, but up to 80% of UV rays can penetrate clouds, and winter sun reflecting off snow can be just as damaging. By ignoring these small exposures, people unknowingly set the stage for accelerated collagen breakdown. Collagen loss from sun damage doesn't only affect skin appearance, it also impacts wound healing and skin strength. Older adults often notice that cuts or scrapes take longer to heal, and part of this slowdown is tied to reduced collagen availability. The skin becomes less able to repair itself, and sun damage compounds this weakness. Infections may become more common, and scars may form more easily, leaving lasting marks. The skin's role as a protective shield is compromised, exposing the body to greater risk. This illustrates how sun exposure is not just a cosmetic issue, but a deeper health challenge that influences resilience and protection. One of the most striking differences between people who protect their skin and those who don't is seen when comparing areas that are frequently exposed to the sun versus areas usually covered. For example, the skin on the face, neck, and hands often appears much older than the skin on the torso, which is shielded by clothing. This contrast shows clearly how much of aging is not inevitable but environmental. By prioritizing sun protection, people can maintain more youthful, smoother skin across all areas of the body, reducing the visible gap between protected and unprotected zones. The eyes and lips are also highly vulnerable to sun damage. The delicate skin around the eyes is thin and prone to wrinkles, and excess exposure accelerates crow's feet and sagging eyelids. Ultraviolet rays also increase the risk of cataracts, which cloud vision and reduce independence later in life. The lips, lacking natural oil glands, dry and crack easily under the sun, sometimes developing cancerous spots. Using sunglasses with UV protection and lip balms with sunscreen may seem small, but they play a major role in slowing down age-related changes in these sensitive areas. Another aspect often missed is how sun damage interacts with lifestyle factors. Smoking, poor diet, and dehydration all weaken collagen, and when combined with unprotected sun exposure, the results multiply. Someone who smokes and spends hours in the sun without protection may look decades older than their peers who avoided these habits. On the other hand, a nutrient-rich diet with antioxidants from fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats like those in salmon and almonds can help the body fight oxidative stress and slow collagen breakdown. Nutrition alone cannot stop sun damage, but it strengthens the body's defenses, making protection more effective. The psychological impact of sun-related aging should also be considered. Appearance plays a large role in confidence and self-esteem, and when people see sudden changes like deep wrinkles, spots, or sagging skin, it can affect how they feel about themselves. A negative self-image can lead to social withdrawal, decreased activity, and even depression, all of which indirectly speed up aging further. Protecting the skin and caring for it daily is not simply about looking good, it is about maintaining a sense of identity, confidence, and engagement with life. Technology and modern skincare provide more options than ever to address sun damage, but prevention remains the most powerful tool. While treatments like retinoids, laser therapies, or chemical peels can improve appearance, they cannot fully reverse collagen breakdown once it has occurred. A simple routine of daily sunscreen, protective clothing, and mindful sun exposure is far more effective than relying on correction later. Sunscreen should be seen as part of daily hygiene, just like brushing teeth. It is an act of defense that preserves not only beauty, but also health. There is also a misconception that darker skin tones are safe from sun damage. While melanin does provide some natural protection, it is not absolute. People with darker complexions may not burn as easily, but they are still vulnerable to DNA damage, collagen loss, and increased cancer risk. This false sense of security can lead to a lack of protection and more severe issues later. Sun protection is universal, regardless of skin tone, and becomes even more critical with age. The role of hydration cannot be ignored either. Sun exposure dehydrates the skin, pulling out moisture and leaving it dry, rough, and more prone to wrinkles. Drinking enough water and using moisturizers with protective ingredients helps the skin retain elasticity. But without reducing sun exposure, hydration alone cannot prevent the breakdown of collagen. The two must work together. Internal hydration and external protection. To maintain resilience and youthfulness, outdoor activities like gardening, hiking, or swimming are vital for physical and mental health, especially after 50, but they should be approached with balance. Engaging in them without sun protection accelerates aging, while taking simple precautions allows people to enjoy these activities safely. Wide-brimmed hats, lightweight long sleeves, and shade breaks make a significant difference, allowing for the benefits of fresh air and movement without the long-term costs to the skin. Awareness about sun protection has grown, but many older adults believe it is too late to start. The reality is that the skin can always benefit from protection, no matter when the habit begins. While past damage cannot be erased, preventing further injury preserves remaining collagen and slows the appearance of future wrinkles and spots. Even starting at 50, 60, or 70 brings visible improvements in texture and health. This message is empowering because it emphasizes that positive change is always possible, regardless of age or history. Collagen itself is not just about appearance, it is about function. It supports blood vessels, ligaments, and connective tissues throughout the body. Sun-induced collagen and breakdown weakens not only the skin, but also overall tissue strength. This contributes to sagging muscles, joint discomfort, and fragile blood vessels. Protecting collagen through sun safety, therefore, preserves far more than beauty. It maintains the structural integrity of the body. When people understand that sun protection supports total vitality, they begin to view sunscreen and protective clothing as investments in lifelong wellness. The connection between sun damage and the immune system is another important piece. UV radiation suppresses the skin's local immune response, making it harder to fight infections or detect abnormal cells that could develop into cancer. After 50, when the immune system naturally becomes less efficient, this added suppression can create serious risks. Protecting the skin is therefore also protecting the immune system, helping the body remain alert and responsive against threats. Understanding the role of collagen and the destructive power of excess sun exposure reveals that aging is not only a matter of years lived, but of choices made daily. Each unprotected moment in the sun contributes to a slow erosion of the body's most vital protective structure. Each act of protection, however small, contributes to resilience, strength, and youthfulness. The difference between rapid aging and graceful aging is often measured in these small, consistent choices made across decades, and the habit of protecting the skin from excessive sun is one of the most powerful tools available.